Welcome back to the gutter, the Grindhouse gutter. And Smoke, we haven't done as many Westerns. I think maybe one, two here in the Grindhouse.
One, I think we did one on the proper episodes proper, but I think we did Django back in Colt
Yeah,
Corner
yeah.
maybe or something like that.
Yeah, I think that was Cold Corner on the podcast. Yeah. So
Yeah,
we added
Grindhouse.
Western last year, but we never swung
Yeah,
back around to it until now. And that was The Great Silence, I believe,
that was a great silence. Yeah,
which
yep.
was dark and
Yes, very
interesting.
dark and interesting. And the funny thing is that I didn't even really think about that movie when I picked this one, but the similarities are very
Yeah,
similar.
yeah.
Let's just say we'll get into that, but
What movie are we talking about this month?
we're talking about Cutthroats 9 from 1972. It's a Spanish film that's more like a spaghetti western, I guess you could say, even it's but spaghetti entail and it means basically that's made in Italy, but this one is very much in the same style as the spaghetti westerns, and it's and we talked about this before, but I'm gonna try and say his whole name, Joaquín Luis Romero Marchant, I think.
Yeah, you got it. You remembered
I
it.
think I got it.
Yeah, you got
It's
the
funny
whole
because we
thing.
just literally said it like 1 minute ago. So
Yeah.
it's somebody who I wasn't familiar with until this movie, and I haven't seen this movie since back in the video rental days. And I haven't seen his other ones, but I know that he's directed a quite a fair share of westerns back in the 60s and 70s and probably into the 80s.
We talked about this when we did The Great Silence, and that like most of your westerns are, good guy, bad guy, white hat, black hat, cowboys,
Yeah.
Indians, that type of thing. There's John Wayne, there's a
Man
hero,
with No Name, Clint Eastwood,
yeah,
right?
but there's a hero that has been deserved or something, and then they have to get
Yeah.
revenge, or it's pretty general storytelling. You
Yeah,
know,
there's a clear cut
the good
hero, or
guy.
at least, you know,
Yeah,
general,
yeah,
right? Sometimes they did go a little bit darker. So it might be an anti hero, right? So,
yeah.
they were a little bit
And Clint
darker
Eastwood
or
did
whatever,
that.
but
Clint Eastwood did that well,
yeah,
especially the revenge stuff and the anti-hero. But for the most part, your generic Western movies are
yeah,
good guy, bad guy, good guy wins. So,
yeah.
not to give too many spoilers away, but like The Great Silence and now this one, there's not really any good guys here, right?
Oh, no. And by the way, I meant to hold this up. I'm sitting here holding this in my hand, and I forgot to hold it up when I introduced the movie. But this is when I was talking about VHS days. This was the tape I rented back then. So,
And that's
and
that's that's very generic, but still kind of cool, you know?
yeah, yeah, it is. It's. I don't even remember the company. It's Liberty Entertainment Group. I remember it's got the Liberty Bell. I don't know if that's visible there. It's the Liberty Bell. I remember this logo or this company from back then, sort of, but it's not one of those that stood out. I don't know how many. Probably really small uh distribution label or whatever, but yeah, and I think I read about it actually in Fangoria or Gore Zone. They had they had mentioned how there's a brutal western. Check this out if you're into horror or whatever. And so I looked for it then, and I found it in one of the video stores. And yeah, it's like you just said, it's very bleak, And when I picked it, I wasn't thinking about the Big Silence, but the Big Silence cinematography and everything is the setting is in a very snowy. Snow plays a huge part in the Big Silence, as it does in this movie too. And it was shot in Spain. So with these mountains that you're seeing, you don't really you don't think about it, but I mean you would think that like most movies, it's supposed to be set in America, so the West, is America's the spaghetti Western thing kind of brought it outside of America, but it's still set in America, whether it's shot in some other country or whatever. This one was shot somewhere in the mountains around Spain or whatever. So it does have a different look a little bit. If you're really paying attention to the background, it definitely has a more European look than say it's not. These aren't the Colorado Rockies or whatever, right?
No.
So I mean, if you think about it, you think, okay, this probably isn't in America. But I mean, you don't really, if you just get taken away with the story or whatever, you don't really think about those things. I looked it up just to see though that to see if they did shoot it in the U.S. or in Europe. I knew it wasn't the U.S. just judging by the way the mountains look, but because these look more like, if anything, they would look more like the Smoky Mountains and Appalachians around us,
Hmm.
because they're tree covered, and then of course with the snow, this mountainside is full of trees and snow, and the snow is just ever present, right, throughout the film. So, and as well as the bleak atmosphere of the Great Silence. This one goes a bit more into the exploitation elements, though, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Almost,
Mm.
I'm not going to say supernatural, but because it's not, but there's almost a tinge of
Yeah,
that there.
yeah. That scene, that's a very awesome scene. I love that, and I know what you're talking about. The specific scene is when we're not going into spoilers really with these, but there's a certain scene where this thing happens, and then this guy comes back to that scene, and
Yeah.
the thing happens in reverse, right? So you
Yeah.
see this stuff going on in reverse, and then he sees what you think, is it a ghost, or is it the, is it this person come back again, or what is it, so yeah, there has that very supernatural element, especially in that scene.
Believe me, when the general premise of them being in the snow and everything like that, I thought like, oh, this is why Smoke likes this one.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
They are lost in
exactly.
they're lost in the snow again. Here we go.
That's a
But
recurring theme. Even when I, even subconsciously, because I wasn't even thinking about that,
yeah,
because it's a perfect movie for this time of year.
yeah,
Quite literally, where we live a bit further south than y'all do, and but we all have snow right now.
yeah. As we speak, there's
Yeah.
been multiple ice storm and snowstorms here in the Carolinas the last couple of
Yep.
weeks. So yeah,
So when I chose this,
we're
I didn't
living
even
in it.
think about it.
Yeah,
Yeah, literally. Yeah, yeah. We're blanketed. Maybe not quite as much snow as in this movie, that they're dealing with or whatever. But yeah, when I chose this, I was just thinking about the exploitation and grindhouse element. I wasn't thinking about the snowy part of it, but that just fit perfectly.
I do love the gimmick of this movie where it's a bunch of dudes that are on the chain gang essentially,
Hmm.
and
Yeah,
they're quote unquote cut loose in the wild. Something happens and now they're loose, so to speak, but they're still
yeah,
chained together. So
yeah.
most of
There's
the
a
movie,
reason for that,
a bunch
but
of
we
dudes
won't go
chained
into.
together. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We're not, we
This
don't
is a
want to give
plot
that away.
device there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Especially that part. You don't want to say that because that'll be a
yeah, yeah, yeah.
give away a big swerve there. But yeah, I mean
But what?
it's I've never seen it before. It's a very interesting premise. Like you said, the atmosphere is pretty cool. But the violence, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
it's almost horror level.
It is, and there's a very good reason for that, or at least the director didn't shoot it that way originally. He shot it. There was violence, but I mean, he didn't linger on any exploitative details of it. But the distributor apparently wanted more violence, so he gave him more money to go back and reshoot some of these scenes to put gore in it, basically.
Hmm.
So that's why it looks. That's why those elements really kind of stick out. I mean, things are happening. They're brutal, and it probably would have been as effective without the gore. But the gore definitely adds. That's why it's on the grindhouse. I mean, really.
Yeah.
I mean, this movie played in the grind in 40 on 42nd Street in various points in time in the 70s and 80s.
And
So it's very much something.
I've seen quite a bit of westerns, but this isn't one that like, was in a rotation of things that I've seen, so like,
Mm-hmm.
but after watching it, I can see why. Like this, not in a
Yeah,
bad way. I just mean like it's not one that's going to play on your Saturday matinee, you know.
yeah, yeah. There's. I mean, you could cut some stuff out of it, but I mean, it would. You can't really. The overall tone. This is one of those movies where the overall tone is kind of like I'm thinking of back when Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer came out, and they tried to get the MPAA to give it an R, submit it to get an R rating, and the MPAA is like, no, you can't cut anything out of this movie and have it be an R rating. This the overall tone of this movie is going to be NC-17 or
Yeah,
X or whatever if you don't go with the rating board. So it's kind of like that. Like if you were to cut the gore out, this is still a very bleak movie. I mean,
yeah.
just the incidents and things that happen in the movie are, yeah, it would have been hard for this to air on some Saturday matinee. Maybe some cable station did do it, try it once or something. I don't know, but I never saw it on TV back then, or I would have been looking for it too after I had read about it. And like I said, I can't remember if it was Fangoria or Gorezone or whatever, but yeah, once I discovered it and checked it out, I'm like, yeah, that's it's a little bit more than your average violent spaghetti western, let's say.
Well, it's solid. I enjoyed it, but really what we come here for on the Grindhouse Gutter is to get your final opinion and where you want to rank it. So, with that being said, what we do here is we do two different things. First and foremost, you give a Grindhouse Gutter rating, which is 0 through 10. The best way we always describe it is what makes it Grindhousey. All the Grindhouse, B movie, these type of movie elements thrown all together, 0 through 10. Where do you think this one lands?
I'm gonna put this up there. I think I might give this a 10, just because of there's plenty gorier grindhouse movies. There's plenty of other, but I mean, there's if you're looking for grindhouse elements in a movie, then this is you can't go wrong with this one. It's there. It's it's bleak and nihilistic as it gets, but with also the added gore. Like I said, the reasoning being because they had to go back and reshoot those scenes and add this graphic details or whatever to it. And I mean, we're talking about, yeah, gunshot wounds, but we're talking about entrails, right? I mean, you're talking about some like pretty savage gore. I mean, it's not on the level of like Cannibal Holocaust or anything like that, or Cannibal
No, no.
Ferox even, or even your average Lucio Fulci. I mean, those movies would have more in it. So I don't want to, overplay it too much, but I think it's got enough elements to give it a 10 on the Grindhouse meter.
It's much higher than your average Western movie. That's a fact.
Yes, yeah. And like I said, it's not even just the gore; it's the other tones in the movie. I mean, there's everything in an exploitation kind of movie, but the exploitation elements are there. But I think it's more enhanced because of that gore. It's just bleak and nihilistic, is what it is. If you're looking for a bleak western, I mean, it's this is it. If you're looking for one that's like you said, uplifting, somewhat uplifting, and you have a clear cut hero who's the good guy, and you have the bad guys. There's no real good guy
Yeah.
you could say in this movie. I can get what some people wouldn't want to watch it for that because well, who am I supposed to root for? This movie is not a movie where you root for anybody. Well, unless you're rooting for one specific person, and then
Yeah. Yeah.
the end of the movie, which we're not going to give away here, is we've all seen it.
There's a
So
slight rooting interest, but most of these people are not savory people.
yeah,
So
yeah,
you're
yeah.
not really rooting for them
And
necessarily.
spoiler alert here, it's definitely doesn't. You don't get a happy ending. You don't have a happy movie.
Exactly. And that's where like most
Yeah,
Westerns are. Like the happy ending, the hero wins, get on a horse and ride
yeah,
off in
yeah.
the sunset.
Right off with the girl or whatever, or
No.
right off in the sunset alone, or
Yeah.
whatever the case. Yeah.
Yep. No, you're not getting that. Mm-mm.
No, no, no. So in a
So,
way that is very the anti-Western Western, I guess, or something.
yeah. Much like the
I
Great
mean,
Silence was, where it's just like
yeah, yeah, exactly. Like I said,
you feel,
there was
you
this is
feel
weird
worse
how
after you watch it. You're like, God,
yeah,
man.
yeah, it's just like it's not. I mean, it's you go through like this roller coaster, like you're going through this grueling experience, kind of with the characters in the
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And I
So
think
what's
it's
your
kind of underrated, really. Like again, I don't want to blow it up too much, where people are like, oh, I'm gonna need to go check this out. It's got a 10 on the Grindhouse score, and it's like, I don't want to talk it up too much. I'm not saying this is like better than the Wild Bunch or better than even the Great Silence or better than the Man with No Name or any of the movies or any of those. It's just a very good underrated western. I think that people, if you're into Grindhouse movies and into spaghetti westerns, you've never heard of this one. I think you definitely need to check it out.
what's your final rating on it? Now, for this, you go 0 through 5, but we don't give out stars. Here, it depends on what kind of genre it is. And so, since this is a Western, you're going to be giving out, what do we do? I'm blanking. Oh, pistols, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, you give out
yeah,
pistols. So 0 through 5 pistols instead of stars for Westerns.
yeah. I think I'm going to give this one. I mean, I really like this one. I'm not going to blow it up too much though or anything, but I'll give it 3.5 pistols. I think it's solid, underrated. Needs to be more people know about it, but it is again, it is bleak and nihilistic. Maybe that's why it's not as and it's not made by somebody who's a name that you're familiar with, like Sergio Leone or Bruno Corbucci or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I totally agree with what he said. Go check it out. I'd never seen it and I enjoyed the hell out of it. So, but like I said, don't look for uplifting John Wayne Western here because this ain't it. Um,
No.
so it's also been a while since we've talked about an exploitation movie. So you chose one, and next month, what are we going to be talking about?
Yeah, it's one that I don't think I've seen it all the way from beginning to end. I've only ever seen it in clips and various things, but it's from the era, let's say, of Herschel Gordon Lewis' movies. He didn't direct this one though. It's his partner David Friedman, and the movie is She Freak, and I forget the year right off the top of my head. Was it 67?
Yeah, 1967. Yep.
67, yeah. So She Freak from 1967, directed by David Friedman. So I'm interested. I'm kind of excited to see it because, like I said, I've seen it in pieces.
Yeah, I've never seen it, but I have seen that poster before
Mhm.
for that. It's kind of that 60s kind of not tie-dyed, but I'm blanking on the kind of art. You know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about? Like that
yeah, I know
60s
what you're talking
style
about, but I
art.
can't put a name to it.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
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 that the
yeah.
exploitation poster art of
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
the ghastly ones or a Herschel Gordon Lewis type
Yeah,
movies, that
very
type of
colorful,
artwork is
neon type
yeah,
colors type stuff. So I've seen that before, but no, I've never seen the movie.
yeah.
So go track it down and join us next month here on the Grindhouse. And also, we encourage you to stick around here on the YouTube channel. Go check out our other series, Hammer Horror in Order and Video Vortex. Now we have the new look Video Vortex. We're calling that Video Vortex version 2. Just a
Mm,
slightly different look and take on the Video Vortex show. So you want to go check that one out. Stay here for all the podcast episodes, which come out every Monday at 6 p.m. East, wherever you get your podcast, or right here on the channel. Uh, tons and tons of well, we're up at over 300 episodes now of the podcast. So no
Crazy.
excuse, no excuse not to go
Yeah.
check out a bunch of stuff that we've done. So stick around here on the channel. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you next month.